while all the attention of the Western media was focused on the Red Square, where the parade was held in honor of the 79th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War. War correspondents reported that on the morning of May 9, Russian troops took control of the strategically important settlement of Umanskoye, in Avdiivka direction of the front. According to them, on May 9, 2024, at 9 a.m. Moscow time, soldiers of the 114th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation hoisted the victory banner on a monument to an unknown Soviet soldier who gave his life in the fight against Nazism during the Great Patriotic War. This monument is located in the center of the village of Umanskoye, and by some miracle, was not destroyed during active hostilities. War correspondents note that, unlike other settlements in the Avdiivka direction of the front, the armed forces of Ukraine defended Umanskoye for quite a long time. However, despite fierce resistance, the Ukrainian army failed to hold this strategically important settlement. At the moment, Russian troops are clearing the village of Umanskoye and trying to dislodge the remnants of the armed forces of Ukraine from the western part of this settlement. Thus, over the past 20-30 days, more than 10 settlements in the Avdiivka direction of the front have come under the control of the Russian army. War correspondents note that the Avdiivka direction of the front remains the most difficult for the Ukrainian armed forces. Military experts and analysts note that after the loss of Avdiivka, the defense of the armed forces of Ukraine began to crumble like a house of cards. Almost every day, units of the Ukrainian army are suffering heavy losses and retreat in a westerly direction. Against this background, the Ukrainian telegram channels admit that the complete liberation of Donbass by the Russian army is only a matter of time. According to them, the transfer of the entire Donbass under the control of the Russian army would give Russian troops a powerful springboard for the further offensive to the central and southwestern regions of Ukraine. Meanwhile, on the night of May 9, Russia launched another massive missile attack on the territory of Ukraine. It is reported that during this massive attack, Russia used dozens of missiles of various types, ranging from Kinzhal hypersonic missiles to Kalibr cruise missiles. Moreover, it is reliably known that during this massive missile attack, along with dozens of Tu-95 MS strategic bombers and supersonic MiG-31K fighter jets, Russia also used about 5 of its submarines, located in the Black Sea. Unfortunately, sources in the Russian military department refused to name the type and class of these submarines. In total, more than hundreds of missiles of various types, including hundreds of geranium kamikaze drones, were fired at military facilities and critical infrastructure of Ukraine. Throughout the night, an air alert sounded in all regions of Ukraine. Powerful explosions were recorded in such regions of Ukraine as Kyiv, Odessa, Kherson, Lviv, Nikolaev, Ivano-Frankivsk, Vinnytsia, Dnipropetrovsk, Ternopil. So, in the Kyiv region, southwest of the Ukrainian capital, Russian missiles and kamikaze drones destroyed a warehouse of the armed forces of Ukraine, where diesel fuel for tanks and other heavy equipment was stored. In the Odessa region, Russian missiles hit the port in the city of Chernomorsk, at the moment when military cargo was being unloaded there. In the Kherson region, Russian missiles hit and destroyed the railway station in the city of Kherson. The destruction of this railway station deprived the armed forces of Ukraine of one of the transport logistics chains in the southern direction of the front. In Ivano-Frankivsk, Vinnytsia, and Dnipropetrovsk regions, Russian cruise and ballistic missiles destroyed critical infrastructure facilities. In particular, Russian missiles hit such thermal power plants as Burshtyn TPP, Latizhenskaya TPP, and Srednoprovskaya hydroelectric power station. In Nikolaev region, in the settlement of STRYI, Russian missiles hit and destroyed a local house of culture. As it turned out, this facility was used by the Ukrainian High Military Command as a place for the deployment of personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine and foreign mercenaries. According to preliminary data, about 60 militants were killed as a result of this missile strike. Moreover, on the same day, Russian missiles also hit and destroyed the place for the deployment of personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine and foreign mercenaries in the city of Pokrovsk. Let me remind you that it is precisely this city that the Ukrainian High Military Command considers the main target of the Russian army in its military operation to liberate Donbass. In Lviv region, in the village of Dobrotvor, Russian missiles hit and destroyed the Dobrotvorskaya thermal power plant. However, the missile strikes on the Lviv region did not end there. As it turned out, Russian Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, along with Kalibr cruise missiles, again hit a military airfield in the city of STRYI. Let me remind you that the North Atlantic Alliance has been using this military airfield for its own purposes since 2014. Moreover, it is precisely this military airfield that NATO is preparing for the acceptance of American F-16 fighter jets. However, regular Russian missile strikes constantly disrupt the plans of the NATO military. In addition, Russian missiles also hit and destroyed the hangars of a local factory in the western part of the city of STRYI. As it turned out, the NATO military stored Western equipment and spare parts for American F-16 fighter jets in these hangars.